Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Inshallah, the sound is good, the audio is good, hopefully. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Today's lesson will be on Bulughul Maram and Kitab al-Talaq. A few brief announcements before we get started. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. After I say wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh to everybody, first and foremost is this month's monthly lecture won't be on the last Thursday, but it'll be on the Thursday before the last Thursday. That will be inshallah the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. Not the 28th, but the 21st of April 2022, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And make sure you sign up, you join, you purchase your tickets for i'tikaf in light of Quran and Sunnah. Thursday, the 21st of April, 9:30 p.m. And you can visit HadithDisciple.shop.com to sign up for this exclusive monthly lecture. Jazakumullah khairan. Secondly, as we say thank you to all of the contributors and the supporters, those who donate and contribute in several different ways. Some brothers and sisters do it physically. Some brothers and sisters volunteer. Some brothers and sisters donate money. Some brothers and sisters offer their services, video skills, etc., etc. We thank each and every one of you, especially during this month. And after the grace and mercy of Allah, the Mighty and the Most High, without your donations, without your support, without your love, without your help, HadithDisciple wouldn't be possible. All right, that's secondly. Thirdly, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, don't forget to check out our latest work, 40 Hadith on fasting and Ramadan, Volume 1, the latest exclusive HadithDisciple publication. And you can buy those books, inshallah ta'ala, via Amazon. The link will be placed in the description. And if you want a personal copy, you can come see me in New York City or in Philadelphia when we have our class schedule. And some brothers and sisters who can't come in person and they want their books signed and they wish to ship them to us, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we wouldn't mind shipping them back to you if that's easy, inshallah ta'ala. What's important is 40 Hadith on fasting and Ramadan, Volume 1. It's out, it's fresh, smoking hot off the press. Make sure you pick up your copy. Jazakumullahu khairan. And last but not least, please look forward to several publications. The Way of the Disciple. The Way of the Disciple, Selected Thoughts, Concise Memoir with regards to the art of studying, according to the HadithDisciple school of thought. The HadithDisciple philosophy, The Way of the Disciple, will be available very soon. We'll give you the exact release date, where to pick it up, how to buy it, how to purchase it, and all the specifics that will be found in that book. But I'm giving you a spoiler now, is that The Way of the Disciple will be available soon enough, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So make sure you jump on that. It's a very, very unique book. Like other books that we make, it's not a translation. It isn't written for students of knowledge overseas in the lands of the Muslims or the Arabs, but it's written for the American Muslim. Whether you're a revert, a convert, born Muslim, raised Muslim, English is your first language, and you went overseas to Egypt, to Yemen, to Kuwait, wherever, to study Arabic and Islam, how to properly study, and what are the pitfalls to avoid, what are the obstacles and the challenges and the hurdles that will be thrown in your path, and how to successfully go to the Middle East, go to North Africa, go to Malaysia, Indonesia, how to successfully go study abroad in India, Pakistan, South Africa, West Africa, okay, Somalia, wherever you go study Islam. It's not just an Arab thing. And you come back to the Western countries, France, Italy, Germany, England, okay, Canada, the United States, Mexico, wherever you come back to the West, and now you're an imam, you're a teacher, you're a resident scholar. What are you to do? All right, based off of some of my personal journeys and some of my personal experiences, some of the blood, sweat, and tears, some of the sufferings, some of the laughs and the cries, the tears of joy, some of my personal experiences with regards to what we call the art of studying, the way of the disciple. And that'll be available bi'idhnillahi ta'ala soon enough. And inshallah ta'ala, we also have another publication coming out, which will be 40 Hadith on Hajj and Umrah, Volume 1. 40 Hadith on Hajj and Umrah as well will be available. We'll give you the publication release date. Thank you very much for signing up. And of course, you can look forward to mufti.com, our exclusive website on homemade teas, exotic teas, fine teas, loose leaf tea, different tea accessories, different assortments, and also different beneficial things as well regarding the culture of tea and teaism. So mufti.com will be released soon enough. The website will be available soon enough. And don't forget where you saw it first. And beware of counterfeit. Beware of people that counterfeit, people that bite and steal. Mufti is original, exclusive, and HadithDisciple. All right? Tea is drunk around the world. Anyone can drink tea. Anyone can be a mufti. But mufti is original. So beware of the counterfeit. All right? Jazakumullahu khairan. So today's lesson, we'll be moving on to the third hadith of the chapter. The third regards to the ruling of talaq bid'ah and what the ulama of Islam say regarding talaq bid'ah, and how there are two different views, and there's khilaf on talaq bid'ah, and some of the ins and outs on the talaq bid'ah. We explained all of that in detail, and we also explained the proper talaq, the talaq that's based upon the Quran and Sunnah, based upon the Quran and the Hadith. Khairan inshallah ta'ala. Let's move forward now. And I believe we will mention this here. Sanani rahimahullah ta'ala, as I had mentioned to you, regarding some of the scholars who hold the view that talaq bid'ah doesn't count. From them is Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah. And we said that Ibn Qayyim made a vehement argument, very strong argument, against those who say that talaq bid'ah does count. We explained that. And here, Sanani, he quotes Ibn Qayyim as well. He quotes Ibn Qayyim as well, but in a different book. The book that we had mentioned was Tahdhib al-Sunan, Ibn Qayyim's commentary and explanation of the Mukhtasar of Sunan Abi Dawud of Mundhiri, Tahdhib al-Sunan. But here, Sanani says, وَقَدْ أَطَالَ ابْنُ الْقَيِّمِ فِي الْهَدْيِ الْكَلَامَ عَلَى نُصْرَةِ عَدْمِ الْوُقُوعِ لكن بعد ثبوت أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم حسبها تطليقة تطيح كل عبارة ويضيع كل صنيع وقد كنا نفتي بعدم الوقوع وكتبنا فيه رسالة وتوقفنا مدة ثم رأينا وقوعه. He then says, Ibn Qayyim in Al-Hadi, meaning Al-Hadi Nabawi, meaning Zad al-Ma'ad, provisions for the hereafter, Ibn Qayyim has a very lengthy argument, a long scholastic discussion and battle, proving that talaq bid'ah does not count. Sanani, he says, however, after the Prophet ﷺ clearly counted that divorce as a talqah, then there's no need for us to deal with that. Sanani's view. And Sanani says that there was a very long time we had that same opinion, that talaq bid'ah doesn't count. And then we wrote a book on the subject, and he says here, tawaqqafna, we said Allahu A'lam. We refrained from giving us an opinion on the issue. Then afterwards, ra'ayna wuqu'ahu, we see that it does count. And this goes to show you how a scholar of Islam can change his opinion. He can change his opinion. So it didn't count at one point in time, according to Sanani. All right. Then he said, tawaqquf, we stop, we see. And then later on, he found out and he discovered to himself, according to his view, is that it does count. تنبيه ثم إنه قوي عندي ما كنت أفتي به أولا من عدم الوقوع لأدلة قوية سقتها في رسالة سميناها الدليل الشرعي في عدم وقع الطلاق البدعي. ومن الأدلة أنه منسوب ومسمى النسبة إلى البدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، والضلالة لا تدخل في نفوذ حكم شرعي ولا يقع بها بل هي باطلة. He says that the book that we wrote regarding the talaq, he says, I now go back to what I previously believed. He went back to his original opinion, and that was that the bid'ah talaq does not count. The commentator San'ani says he changed his view back to his original view, and he said, and there are many proofs and evidences for this, and there's strong proofs and evidences. From those proofs and evidences is that this type of talaq is attributed to what? It's attributed to bid'ah. It's attributed to bid'ah. Talaq bid'i, they call it. So how can something be ascribed or attributed to innovation and having a place in the deen? How can it have any type of legislative weight or significance in the deen? How can it be something that counts? In which, obviously, he didn't say this, but a family is broken up, a man and woman, they're separated. This mahar, this family, this argument, this husband, this wali, divorce, the problem of divorce. How can something like that have an effect and have an impact? Something so dangerous as talaq that is called bid'ah. He says, so each and every bid'ah is dalala, is misguidance. There's no bid'ah hasana. All bid'ah is misguidance. So how can something of misguidance be considered and regarded in the deen and in the sharia? And of course, anyone who reads this argument is clear. That's strong and that's clear. And that's one of the main arguments that they use, regardless of the technical hadith discrepancies. The narration of Abu Zubair, فَلَمْ يَرَهَا شَيْئًا وَلَمْ يَرَهَا شَيْئًا, he didn't consider it to be anything, regardless of is it shadh, is it mahfuz or not, but just the concept of it's bid'ah. And the ulama who hold the view that it's haram, and they hold the view that it does count, they themselves call it bid'ah. And the Prophet ﷺ says, for hurad, then each and every bid'ah is rad, is mardud, it's rejected. Khayr, inshallah. He then says, ولأن رواة لحديث ابن عمر اتفقوا على أن المسند المرفوع في هذا الحديث غير مذكور فيه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حسب تلك التطليقة على ابن عمر ولا قال له قد وقعت ورواه ابن عمر مرفوعا بل في صحيح مسلم ما دل على أن وقوع إنما هو رأي لابن عمر وأنه سئل عن ذلك فقال وما لي لا أعتد بها وإن كنت قد عجزت واستحمقت. وهذا يدل على أنه لا يعلم في ذلك نصا نبويا لأنه لو كان عنده لم يترك روايته يتعلق بهذه العلة العليلة فإن العجز والحمق لا مدخل لهما في صحة الطلاق. ولو كان عنده نص نبوي لقال وما لي لا أعتد بها وقد أمرني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن أعتد بها. طيب. Then he goes on to speak on the issue with greater detail, greater length. And that is that the narrators agree about the part that is attributed to the Prophet ﷺ, and they don't agree about the tatliqa being counted. And he says that that proves that that was Ibn Umar's opinion. The Prophet clearly told her to take her back, but that it counted as a divorce, as a strike, a tatliqa. He says the narrators did not agree on that point. All right, and that's a technical hadith issue into which the layman Muslim is not to get involved, and to which the beginner or even the intermediate student of knowledge isn't to get involved. It's an advanced move, an advanced technique, all right, with regards to the ta'arud al-raf'i wal-waqf. Okay, what's important is Sanani is now supporting the view that the bid'ah talaq does not count. It doesn't count. So add that to the list of those ulama who hold that view. وقد صرح الإمام الكبير محمد بن إبراهيم الوزير بأنه قد اتفق الرواة على عدم رفع الوقوع في الرواية إليه صلى الله عليه وسلم. وقد ساق السيد محمد رحمه الله 16 حجة على عدم وقوع طلاق البدع ولخصناها في رسالتنا المذكورة. وبعد هذا تعرف رجوعنا عما هنا فليلحق هذا في النسخ سبل السلام. And of course this is in the actual print. In other words, there were some prints of the book, some manuscripts of the book in which his old opinion was. And the final and last thing that he wanted the people to know from him is that it doesn't count. And this goes to show that a scholar, he looks after his works and he doesn't want someone to misquote him or someone to misunderstand him or to attribute something to him that he took back. All right, move forward. وأما الاستدلال على الوقوع بقوله فليراجعها ولا رجعة إلا بعد طلاق فهو غير ناهض لأن الرجعة المقيدة ببعد الطلاق عرف شرعي. متأخر إذ هي لغة أعم من ذلك ودل الحديث على تحريم الطلاق في الحيض وبأن الرجل يستقل به الزوج من دون رضا المرأة والولي لأنه جعل ذلك إليه. Another point he brings up, as far as those who say that the proof that it counts, the proof that the bid'ah talaq does count, as the Prophet ﷺ said, فَلْيُرَاجِعْهَا, let him take her back. And there's no taking back unless there is talaq, right? So now he rejects this. And we don't need to deal with that any further. What's important is the scholars, they differ on this. Moving forward, he says this hadith also proves from the benefits of this hadith is that divorcing a mincing woman is unlawful, as we explained. It's impermissible. And this hadith also proves is that the man is the only one who has the sole executive power to take his wife back out of iddah. And he can take his wife back out of iddah whether she likes it or likes it not. He divorces her, she says, yay, I'm happy, I'm finally free from this guy. In 3 months, 3 cycles, I'll be done, I'm leaving. And then he takes her back a week later, or a month later, or 2 months later, or 3 days before it's over. She has no say in it whatsoever. She's still his wife, and he has the executive, exclusive right to take her back. Also, the wali has no say-so in this. The wali may say, you can't take her back. Khalas. You divorced her, you can't have her back. You don't know how to treat my daughter, or my mom, or my sister, or the sister that I was in charge of. You don't deserve her. You're no good. We're going to move on to a new brother, etc., etc. The wali has no say-so, and the man taking his wife back. Moving forward, and he goes on to explain this, and this is because this is something Allah gave him. وَلِقَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى وَبُعُولَتُهُنَّ أَحَقُّ بِرَدِّهِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ. As Allah said in Surah Al-Baqarah, as that their bu'ul, their azwaj, their husbands have most right to their ruj'ah. If they come first with regards to taking them back. Moving forward, وبأن الحامل لا تحيض لقوله طاهرا أو حاملا فدل على أنها لا تحيض لإطلاق الطلاق فيه وأجيب بأن حيض الحامل لما لم يكن له أثر في تطويل العدة لم يعتبر لأن عدتها بوضع الحمل ولأن الأقراء في العدة هي الأطهار. And he says another point we take from this hadith and this story is that a pregnant woman does not menstruate. There is no hayd when she's pregnant. The rulings of menstruation in Islam do not apply to a pregnant woman. And obviously the scholars, they differ on this. Some say that a pregnant woman can mince. And others say that a pregnant woman cannot have menstruation. Of course, that's a medical argument and a medical discussion as well. Moving forward. قال الغزالي مستثنى من تحريم طلاق الحيض طلاق المخالعة لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يستفسر حال امرأة ثابت هل هي طاهرة أو حائض مع أمره له بالطلاق. والشافعي يذهب إلى أن ترك الاستفصال في مقال الاحتمال ينزل منزلة العموم في المقال. He then says, Al-Ghazali states that one of the times in which it's permissible for a menstruating woman to get a divorce is the khul'ah. A woman who's menstruating and she's seeking the khul'ah from her husband, it's lawful and it is not talaq bid'ah. It's not talaq bid'ah. Guys, please, inshallah ta'ala, don't ask any questions during the stream. Every time the little thing pops up on the screen, it's taken away from my focus. All right? Inshallah, you can ask questions, hopefully, when we make the Q&A session. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you very much for understanding and for coming. Then states is that the woman seeking khula is allowed to get the talaq. And the proof for this is, he says, is that the Prophet ﷺ did not ask Thabit's wife, are you menstruating or not? Lam yastafsil. He didn't seek any further detail. And he goes on to mention a theoretical principle of Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, is that whenever the details are not required, it goes on to show that the ruling is general. Wallahu ta'ala alam. All right. And for lack of better translation. That's the end of the discussion of that hadith. Let's move on to the next hadith. And a few basic points of advice, of course, is to be mindful of divorce, be mindful of anger, be mindful of ego for men and for women. Okay, a man who divorces his wife out of anger or because of his ego, he's at no less fault, or he's no worse than the woman who pushes him to that point through her ego or playing on his ego and getting him to that boiling point. So both husband and wife, man and woman, be mindful of anger. Don't get angry unnecessarily. Be mindful, okay? Tayyib. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, try your best to suppress your ego and your nafs. It's not about me being the big tough guy, the big dog. It's not about me being in charge. It has to be my way. It's not about me as a woman saying, well, I don't need no man, or I'm not scared of you, or I can live by myself, or you're not going to threaten me, or you want me to get on my knees and beg you. Get rid of your ego, all right? This is very important. And also, when you divorce, make sure you do it the right way. And in most cases, when you're searching and looking for the divorce in the right way, in most cases, you'll calm down. In most cases, the anger will go away, or you'll make up, or you'll think about it, or something will take place in which it'll get you to say, all right, it's not that bad. And if you don't feel that way, you're calm, you're no longer angry, at least you divorce with a clear head. And you have no regrets afterwards. There's never a fatwa that you have to seek. No rabbit that needs to be pulled out of a hat by a mufti, an imam that you call at 2 a.m. Nah, I'm sheikh. Oh, subhanallah. I know you're sleeping. I know you're busy. I know you're studying. I'm sorry to bother you, but yeah, I got in son with my wife, this is that, sheikh, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, you moving the lie. Avoid that. Don't play yourself. Divorce with a clear, level head. That's my advice. And then you can avoid many fiqh technicalities. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. The next chapter, or the next hadith, is hadith number 3. The author states, وعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال كان الطلاق على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأبي بكر وسنتين من خلافة عمر طلاق الثلاث واحدة. فقال عمر إن الناس قد استعجلوا في أمر كانت لهم فيه أنات فلو أمضيناه عليهم فأمضاه عليهم. رواه Muslim. Third hadith is the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. In the time of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, in the first 2 years of the caliphate of Umar, the 3 pronouncements of divorce were regarded as one divorce. So Umar said, people have made haste in an affair they used to practice with patience. So supposing we execute it on them. So he executed it on them. Reported by Muslim. Once more, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma narrates that during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during the caliphate, the khilafah of Abu Bakr, and 2 years, and it says in that translation, the first 2 years of Umar's khilafah, of Umar's caliphate, the talaq that was said 3 times, talaq, 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 anti-talaq, anti-talaq, anti-talaq. During that period of time, those 3 divorces only counted as 1. Umar radiallahu anhu, he then said, the people, and this is a lesson to be learned, the Salaf, they were the Sahaba that remained, and the Tabi'een, the best of the Muslims. They were hasty. They ran about when they didn't have to run about. They made haste out of something that Allah Azza wa Jal did not make them make a hasty decision in. So therefore, let's give them a taste of their haste. Let's give them a taste of their haste. Now you keep doing it over and over again. You keep coming back to me. I divorced my wife 3 times. Is it just once? You know what? Now it's 3 times. Now we're going to apply it as 3 times. That's the gist of this hadith. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim. All right, the main lesson before we read the commentary and deal with the points of this hadith is this is also a type of sunnah talaq and Bid'ah talaq. Sunnah talaq, as we previously explained in the narration of Ibn Umar, is to divorce your wife while she's in a pure state in which you did not sleep with her. And if you did sleep with her in a pure state, it's already proven that she's pregnant. She's pregnant. So her iddah is going to be birth at the end of the day. Whether it's the first month you slept with her of her pregnancy, second, third, what's important is her iddah is when she gives birth. Period. So her iddah is going to be longer or shorter. As far as if she's in a clean state, she's making salat, she's fasting, you can't sleep with her and divorce her the next day, the next morning, or last night. And that's because it's going to mess up the iddah, let alone the other problems of divorcing a woman that you just slept with. Everybody understand this? So that's one aspect of the sunnah talaq. Another aspect of the sunnah talaq, as we explained, is that the sunnah talaq should only be how many times? Once. So let's make a little quick quiz. A man divorces his wife one time after they had intercourse last night. Sunnah or bid'ah talaq? He says divorce one time. He brings two witnesses. He's not angry, but he had intercourse with her last night. Sunnah or bid'ah talaq? Of course, we know the answer is what? It's bid'ah. It's incorrect. Why? Because she's in a pure state in which not sunnah, Mahmoudji. It's bid'ah because he slept with her last night. And I try to make it tricky. He wasn't angry, right? He had two witnesses, right? But she was in a pure state. She didn't get a mens and come off of the mens, nor is she pregnant. So that's an incorrect type of talaq. That can't be sunnah. All right. Another question. A man divorces his wife in a pure state in which he did not sleep with her. She came off her mens. He was angry with her. He wanted to divorce her when she was menstruating. He waited 2 days. She's off her mens. She's clean. She's praying. She's fasting. He didn't have intercourse with her. She's not pregnant. There's no issue with regards to that. He brings two witnesses to the house, right? He's not mad. He's not angry. He has valid reasons for the divorce. She's a disobedient wife. She's extremely sarcastic, has a nasty, foul mouth. Whatever the reason for divorce. But he says, anti-taliq, anti-taliq, anti-taliq. I don't want to ever be with you again. I want to make sure that I put all three of my strikes right now. Anti-taliq, anti-taliq, anti-taliq. You're divorced, you're divorced, you're divorced. I bear witness you're divorced, I bear witness you're divorced, I bear witness you're divorced. I swear by Allah, the Lord of the Kaaba, you're divorced. I swear by Allah, the Lord of the Kaaba, you're divorced. I swear by the Lord of the Kaaba, you're divorced. Sunnah or bid'ah talaq? Now will be the time to type, guys. Now will be the time to type. Now will be the time to type. The brothers and sisters who like type in, whether they're asking questions, saying hello, or promoting their own websites, as we are speaking and talking and teaching, now would be the time to type, right? Don't type when it's not time to type, and don't type when it is time to type. That's correct. It's bid'ah talaq. It's not a sunnah talaq. It's not a sunnah count as one. The talaq, based off of this one hadith, is going to count as one. But him saying a divorce 3 times is what? It's bid'ah. It's wrong. It's incorrect. And the proper way of divorce is only supposed to be how many times in one time, one swing, one sitting is only supposed to be what? One time. It doesn't matter about how many witnesses he has. He didn't sleep with her. He wasn't angry. He admonished her. He separated the bed from her, etc., etc. Only one time. So anyone who divorces his wife 3 times at once is not doing that which is correct. That's incorrect. Everybody clear on that? And then based off of what we have learned, what we have studied, what we have taught and explained, you just mix and match the pieces for exercise, mental exercise. All right, a man is such and such. All right, a woman is such and such. All right, a woman is pregnant, such and such. And that way you can practice on what you've learned. All right, so that's a bid'ah talaq, and that's an incorrect type of talaq. An incorrect type of talaq doesn't just pertain to menstruation, but also pertains to the number of times that the talaq is given. Oh, inshallah, everybody clear on this so far? Based off of this hadith, before we get into its explanation. All right, now there's a big problem that we have with this hadith. Anybody know what this problem is? What the problem is in this hadith? What's the problem with this hadith? What do we have? It's an issue. All right, the problem with this hadith is, Sanani rahimahullah, he says, Al-hadithu thabitun min turuqin an ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu. Inshallah, we'll discuss the problems with this hadith in the next class. And if you want to call this a cliffhanger, then la shak, it's a cliffhanger. So we'll see you, inshallah ta'ala, next week, hopefully, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.